Good morning, everyone. It is Dave with Alaskan Homesteading. I've got a sawmill video today for you, but maybe not the usual kind of sawmill video that you're expecting. And I don't think I'm actually going to cut any wood today, but I do need to move the mill. Winter is coming on a little faster than anticipated here, and we're supposed to get our first snow on Sunday, just a couple of days from now. And so I don't want the mill sitting out here under the snow all winter. So what I've done is I've set up a ShelterLogic carport, and I'm going to park the mill under that for the winter to keep the snow off of it. And maybe I'll actually be able to use the mill a little bit and cut a little bit of wood this winter. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. This is the carport that we assembled in the last week. It's something I bought off of Facebook Marketplace. Got a pretty good deal on it. It was used, obviously. But, you know, it had all its parts. The canvas seems to be in decent shape. No obvious rips or tears or holes or anything like that. All the poles are there. All the parts are complete. And it was actually partially assembled, which is also really convenient. I didn't have to fully build the thing. I sort of reassembled the arches and hooked it all together, and it went up pretty quickly. The main thing that I do when I build a ShelterLogic here is I make a foundation for it out of pressure treated lumber. And so what I've got down here is 2x8 number 2 ground contact pressure treated lumber with the feet of the shelter lag bolted in, so those are nice and secure to the lumber. And then I stake the foundation down with 4-foot rebar. So that's only sticking out a couple inches. So you can see that's going into the ground a good 3.5 feet or so. And that really provides good security for the foundation and for the ShelterLogic to resist all of the uplift forces that get caught by these canopies in the winter winds that we get here sometimes. So that worked really well for the big carport that I built. Actually, it's more of what they call a garage in a box. So I expect that'll work very well for this structure also. But this will be a good shelter to keep the sawmill parked under for the winter. Last winter it sat over there by the woodshed, and we got so much snow it was buried all the way up to the frame in snow all winter. And so I had absolutely no chance to do anything with it for that entire time. I don't want that to happen again, so my objective today is to get that sawmill relocated over here to the ShelterLogic and tucked in for the winter. Today we'll be using the UTV to relocate the mill. This thing has a nice little trailer hitch on it. It can haul 1,000 or 1,200 pounds for its towing capacity. It's a nice tool here, and I swapped out the tires for ones that had a little bit less impact on the turf. These are much lower profile. They're sort of the like standard tire that would come on a Polaris. They're better on the lawn. This is going to be a little annoying to get started up because everything's frosted over now that it's practically winter. So in order to get this hooked up, I'm going to have to take the leveling jacks up and then raise the front of the trailer tongue a little bit to get up to the hitch on the UTV. It'll take a few minutes to get all that sorted out. It's not going to be super fun is once I get this moved, I'm going to have to go re-level it, which that'll take a little bit of time, but it'll just be nice to have it out of the weather and hopefully usable for the winter. Just hope I can get this raised up high enough. If not, I can drop the hitch a little bit. It's a drop hitch. So that's what I'm dealing with here. Yeah, we should be all right. I should be able to back under there and get that hooked up. Alrighty, well, we've got it all hooked up. Got it on the hitch without too much of a problem, or without a hitch, as they might say. Got the jack's taken up. The head is, cover is just sort of strapped down with this strap. The mill head is actually pinned in place with one of these retainers, so that's not going anywhere. That log might roll off. We'll see if we can do this gently enough to not disturb it. But let's get rolling here. really fun problem I'm having here is that right at the end of fall, it got so wet and so muddy from all the rain that I really couldn't get this area smoothed out and graded the way I wanted to. I was just pushing mud around and really tearing up the yard. And now I'm paying the price for that because it went from super wet and muddy to frozen. And now this, I'm going to be dealing with this all winter, this uneven ground. This is just sort of facts of life of the weird seasonal transitions that happen in Alaska. And if you don't have the time to kind of get after stuff when it has to get done, you really put yourself in an awkward spot sometimes, and that's where we are today. I'm sure I'll be able to get this position, but I just wanted to show you the fun that I get to have here trying to maneuver this thing gently while getting over this uneven ground with ruts and frozen mud and everything. Well, that's not too bad. It's certainly well covered enough. I could even pull that forward. I don't really care if the trailer tongue sticks out into the snow, but I do want to be able to have the full length of the mill deck under there. I'm not sure about getting logs in there. I think if I do try to mill anything, it'll all have to be really small stuff, because getting it in here could be a real trick. But I think I've got enough space to walk alongside the mill underneath the canopy here, and you know, maybe I can work something out with a little log dolly and tractor to send logs in here lengthwise, as long as there's something I can reasonably get up onto the mill deck. I don't know, we'll see. We might have to get creative with that. Or we might not mill anything this winter, and that's okay too. All right, well, that's about perfect. That gives me full overhead coverage of the mill head, the whole trailer, all the way to the end of the deck, which honestly I'm not milling anything that long anyway most of the time. Most of what I'm doing is, you know, 8 to 12 feet. This can do 16 foot, just a little over 16 foot logs, but I don't usually end up with that kind of material. Well, I've got to get these jacks reinstalled. I'm not going to level the mill today, I don't think. At least if I do, I'm not going to do it on camera. I've got another video about leveling the mill, so I'll spare you all of that. But for right now, I'll be just happy to have this thing parked and tucked in, and we'll get her put away. And I need to get some boards underneath these jacks too, so that they don't just get frozen into the ground. Because another thing I might do this winter, if conditions allow it, is take this mill to another property and do some custom on-site milling for somebody else. All right, well, that's going to really wrap it up for today. I'm getting kind of cold, and my main objective has been achieved here. I've got the mill put away where I want it and where I think it can sit comfortably for the rest of the winter. I hope that you're enjoying this content. Please let me know. Drop a comment if you have something interesting that you'd want to share about what I'm doing, or a question, or hell, even a complaint if you think I'm doing something that's ridiculous. I'm happy to entertain any kind of comments you want to drop in, as long as they're respectful. At any rate, thanks for watching. At any rate, thanks for watching. At any rate, thanks so much for watching. Please go ahead and... At any rate, thanks for watching. Go ahead and like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.